Welcome to Central News for Wednesday, the 2nd of October. I'm Hilary Entwistle. We continue tonight with our mayoral candidate special with the Waikato District Council. The population of the district in the 2006 census was 50,000, but it was corrected last night by current Mayor Alan Sanson, who told me currently they estimate it to be 64,000. There are 5 men running for Mayor of the Waikato District. They are current Mayor Alan Sanson, Bruce Cameron, Noel Smith, Frank McKinley and Blair Donaldson. Frank could not make it due to work commitments, but he has supplied us with some of the answers to some of the questions we will be asking later on in the program. Tonight I have Blair Donaldson and Bruce Cameron. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Good evening, Hilary. Good evening. Thank you.
Now we're going to start off with a minute and a half on the clock. If you could each tell us a little bit about yourself and why people should vote for you. We'll start off with you, Blair.
Thank you, Hilary. So my name's Blair Donaldson. I'm 52 years old. I'm an ex-police sergeant of 33 years, just retired in April this year. I believe why I've joined, why I've put my name forward for the mayoral candidacy is because of the direction I want to take it. I believe in fresh eyes, for this area. And so, what is it that the mayor needs that I've got that I can give the community? I think that it has to be a very good negotiator, and I've got that in spades, I believe. So I'm a very good negotiator, I'm a people's person and a good team leader. I'm very inclusive in relation to staff movements and dealing with what they want. I bring a different vision. I bring a small business and focus. I understand that that our rural sector keeps our district alive, but I believe that it's the small businesses that keep our actual towns alive.
Bruce.
Evening, yep. Bruce Cameron, I live at Glenmurray and I've lived there most of my life. I've been involved with councils over the years for quite a long time, and with Franklin. And when the Auckland Super City, Franklin got split in half to the Waikato, half to Auckland. And in that time I engaged a lot with the council. I'd be invited in for policies, submissions and bylaws and that to have stakeholder input before it actually got to the council. And I enjoyed that, and had a good relationship with the mayor and the other councillors. And when we came into the Waikato, I found quite a different philosophy. It was, we know what we're doing and we don't need you, and on various issues which I didn't see as being right. So the question of me putting my head up for mayor took a while to come about. I had quite a few other people pushing me to do it, and finally I did. I'm much more interested in engaging with the people, finding out what they want, and the council is a representation of the people. So when it comes to policies, bylaws, and that, you need you've got to have the buy-in of the people and be engaging with them. And I haven't seen that happening. So that's more where I'm coming from. I also have a business background. I've got a couple of retail outlets and commercial property in Hamilton, and also farming at Glenmurray. So, and I think Waikato's made up of about, depending on the figures, 70–80% of it is the income rates is based from a rural income. So I've got a foot in, you might say, in both camps, so from the town side and from the rural side.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now we have to take a break, but up next we talk all things council, debt and rates. Welcome back to Central News with our Mayoralty Candidate Special with the Waikato District candidates. So, debt is something that all councils have to face. Bruce, is the debt something that you feel should be addressed?
The debt that the Waikato District Council has I don't see as a big issue. At the end of July it was 41.6 million, spread over a pretty big area. Councils can't do everything, all their funding out of their rates. They, when it comes to a lot of infrastructure, they need to be borrowing some money and they're paying it off, and that makes it an intergenerational loan, which the generations in the future will be paying for. And that's for, as I said, infrastructure, roading, it can be water, wastewater, and that. It was projected by 2022 that the debt would go up to 126 million, but they've actually, talking to the CEO the other day, felt it was going to be about 90 million. So no, I don't, if the council keeps along the track that it is, I think it's in a pretty good position.
Blair, do you think it's something that should be addressed, the debt of?
Yeah, not straight away, but definitely at some stage we're going to have to address this debt rather than just hide from it. I believe we'll have to review our contracts and agreements along with that to see if we can make any. It's all about savings at the end of the day, and it's about what the ratepayers are actually getting for their rates. Paying back debt certainly isn't sexy, is it? But we all got to do it, so we've got to suck it up and look at least putting some sort of progression plan forward in relation to how we're going to address it.
And Frank has supplied us with this answer. Proper debt management is a must. Initially, he will seek sinking lid staff and services trimmings, promoting efficiency. He says he has businessman's ideas when it comes to eliminating debt. Let's move on to the topic of rates. So Blair, what is an acceptable amount of rate increase for you?
Well, I don't like rates increases full stop, actually. However, I understand that they are one of those necessary evils. And so the lowest as possible. And I've been speaking with the rates control team, and it's all about core business and what we're actually getting for our rates and how we can spend that money. So I would say that rates increases, if we need to have a rates increase, they shouldn't go above that level of interest. The level of interest, say 1%, 1.5, I'd be looking at. But I'd only be looking at it as a last resort. There are plenty of other areas in which we can make savings, in which we can address, and I'm sure there is. It's just that we haven't had those fresh eyes, and that's what I bring to you, as I bring fresh eyes to this area. Vote for me.
Bruce, what's an acceptable amount of rate increase to you?
Well, since, as I said, we came from Franklin into the Waikato, and then there was a 30% rate increase straight off because the differential between the two councils, so that was a bit hard to stomach. And in the last 3 years, the general rate component has gone up now from when we first went in, has gone up 58%, and that's a huge increase. Accepting that, rates will keep going up, but they can't be going up greater than the rate of inflation. It's very hard to, costs are increasing all the time. The councils are trying to tie it to there's a local body rate where they measure the CPI against different standards to what the general one is, because they say their services that they use are more expensive, i.e. roading, contracting. That rate of inflation is increasing more. But the people that are paying the rates, they don't have that luxury. They're tied more to the CPI, so the councils have got to keep within that, and they've got to tighten their strings, and also look hard at the contracts that they're letting out, and how effective, value for money they're looking at, and also look at their core business.
And Frank's answer was 3% across the board, including targeted rates. We have to take a break, but up next we look at amalgamation. Welcome to Central News on TV Central with the Waikato District mayoral candidates. There has been speculation whether amalgamation will be on the table for the Waikato region. If there is one district in our regions that knows amalgamation, that would be the Waikato District, as they acquired a part of the Franklin District when the Auckland Super City Council was created in 2010. Bruce, do you support amalgamation?
No, I don't. What I do support, though, is the councils starting to work together in sharing services. And out of that, in the long term, let's see what happens. But it's about getting the rates to the, keeping the costs down as much as possible. And if councils can start looking at sharing services, IT, they've done it with insurance and got some good rates on that. There's other areas they might be able to look at, roading. They've got to start looking at other means of getting their costs down. And I see not amalgamation, it's too big an area, too many diverse communities to start pulling together, but let's look at sharing some services.
Blair, are you for amalgamation?
I'm 100% behind Bruce. In fact, I'm very anti the amalgamation part of for councils. Although I'm saying that you just can't just say you're against it straight. What we have to do is learn how to share our toys with each other. The reasons why I'm actually behind or against amalgamation is because I think that our voice will not be heard. Our voice will be tossed in the background, and no matter what we say, we may think we're the big fish in this pond, but Hamilton will override. And I think that we've found it's just like the Auckland super city, and look how they treated Tuakau. I think that was disgusting, and certainly we picked it up, and Tuakau would have a better idea of how they were treated with their current mayor. But for the record, I'm anti the amalgamation with the Hamilton city.
Do you think then that the Waikato Mayoral Forum does go far enough in sharing facilities and costs?
No, I don't. I'm saying that I'm fully for a Waikato Mayoral Forum. It's all about sharing ideas. It's all about FaceTime with other members, sharing ideas, and then building that relationship so we can go forward. And that's what I believe.
Bruce, do you think that the Waikato Mayoral Forum goes far enough?
No, it doesn't go far enough. It is probably the start of the correct venue to start from, but when you've got the mayors and the CEOs is all part of it, the CEOs are also, and probably the mayors too, they want to protect their position. They don't, the CEOs, a lot of them on very good money. If they start reducing the strengths of some of the councils with shared services, they could start losing some of their, I'll say, pay packets. And so I see, unless there's some really clear direction and really clear signals or guidelines coming out of it, I think the staff and CEOs will start to water it down. And I don't think it'll become that effective.
So say amalgamation does happen, because it could possibly be on the table, it could possibly happen if you're elected in your term. How do you assure that the Waikato district still has that clear, strong voice and it doesn't get lost in amalgamation?
Well, I watched the exercise and was involved with it when Franklin got split in half. And I was involved with submitting to it and to the commission from the government that was going around at the time. And we kept telling Franklin all the time they wanted to stay as one, which is basically what we did want. But we said you've got to have a plan B, because the government is going to push it. And you've got to put yourself in a position to negotiate. And you're not going to get all you want, but you've got to realise that it's going to happen. If you stand there, and Franklin did that, and they tried to fight it, and basically the commission just come in and said, this is it, boundary, full stop. You're basically kicked off the table. So you've got to stay at that table and negotiate with and that's leading up to when I'm mayor or whoever's mayor. You've got to be engaging with the communities a lot to find out where they're coming from and what their view is on it. But if the government pushes the issue, that's it, I don't like accepting that, but that's what will happen.
Yes, and I don't accept that whatsoever. I agree in relation to the negotiation part, and like I said right at the very beginning, I'm a very, very good negotiator. Should it happen, and I will fight it tooth and nail to make sure that it does not happen, but should it happen, then negotiation, we could write into contracts whatever we want, and if it means extra votes, possible voting on the council, we can do that. I'm sure that they can look at that. We're a big catchment area for Hamilton. We're a big rate area for Hamilton. They want us there. We don't want to be there, or I don't want to be there. Vote for Blair. We're not there.
How would you ensure that you don't absorb that debt from Hamilton City Council if we were amalgamated?
Well, yes, exactly, and that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's exactly why Hamilton will want this. They'll want to get hold of our rates, our money, just to so they can move forward. And I can understand that, but that's not right.
Thank you very much. Now, Frank said he definitely does not support amalgamation, but if it did happen in his term for the integration period, he would be for time-share mayoralty. Up next, we put our viewers' questions to the candidates. Good evening, you are with Central News and the Waikato District candidates. The population of Tuakau is predicted to increase as a result of Auckland expanding. The council is currently consulting on the Tuakau structure plan. What is your position on the infrastructure of Tuakau?
Tuakau's got a long way to go to get its infrastructure up to speed to where they're projecting the population to get to. But I'll give credit the way the council's going about it, and the man heading the team, David Totman, is doing a really good job. He's engaging with the community and having good meetings with the community to get the feeling of what they want, and so that by the time the plan comes out that there'll be no surprises in it. People know what is in it. But there's the residential growth, there's the commercial growth, the industrial growth. They've all got to be tied in so that they all grow together and match each other, and that's also the infrastructure with the roading. There's Wangaratta Road that goes from Pokeno into Tuakau. That's got to be upgraded. There's also the controversy over the railway, the passenger train, which they're getting to Pukekohe. We're trying to get it to Tuakau, because it's all very well having all the population coming in there. You've got to have the buses, the transport, and also for the industry and the trucking. So we want to see growth. It's going to happen, but not at any cost. It's got to be managed and the whole thing pulled together. There's also, we've got to keep in mind that there's still a lot of land in Drury that's up for development. So Tuakau and Pokeno is still competing with that land, and that land is closer to Auckland, it's closer to a population base and therefore a workforce. So it'll grow, but we've got to manage it.
And it definitely will grow, Hilary. We've got Auckland expanding the boundaries, coming down over the Bombays. We've got Hamilton coming out from their boundaries into Ngaruawahia. So they're going to meet. So this is my first time running for mayor, and I certainly don't have all the answers. I may have a few good ones and a couple of bad ones, but in relation to Tuakau, I can honestly say that I don't know a heck of a lot about Tuakau as such, but I do know that when I do get elected, that will be on my priority list to catch up. So that catch up will only take a few days as far as I'm concerned. I'm a very, very hard worker. I'm very pro the whole train idea, the whole transportation idea, and would like to see that even extended further through to the Huntly, Ngaruawahia areas, just so we can transport out our workers. We've been going through a hard time lately. That includes the layoff of so many people, through our mines and stuff. We have to get our people out there and transport out so they can get jobs, so they can work and support our families. Thank you.
Now, this one comes from a Raglan viewer, and they actually would like to know what your view is on community boards and whether you support them, Blair.
Yes, I certainly support community boards. In fact, I intend to give community boards more power. With more power will come more responsibility. I'd like to see their projects that they put forward on an aims and objectives and methods, a methodology written down, given to us to look over, go through, hand it back to the community boards and say, yeah, let's go for it. Now, in return, you tell me what the rest of the public want. The extra eyes and extra ears out there for us, and that's very important, I feel. We're only a small amount of, a small group of people, and we may think that we've got the best interests. What I might find is worrying me might not in fact be the truth, might not in fact be worrying the rest of the community. I know we did a study, we thought that the public were worried about burglaries. It wasn't, they were worried about tagging. You know, how bad can, you know, like off beam you are. So you would set your rates, or you'd set your sights on what actually the community, the public, actually want and what they're talking about, and not what you actually think about, are thinking about.
Now, Bruce, so you for community boards, do you support them?
Yes, I'm definitely in favour of community boards and giving them their more responsibility. That doesn't mean to say they necessarily cost more to run. The council's spending money in the region, you know, using Raglan as an example, spending money there anyway, but let the community boards have a look at what that spending is, let the community boards look at the priority of it and where like Raglan feels the money needs to be spent. Yeah, as I said before, there's so many diverse communities in the Waikato, and you look at Raglan, you look at Tamihere, Tuakau, they're all so different, and they all have different, where they see the priorities for their spending, so they need to be engaged with a lot more. They're the people on the ground, and also, you know, there's some brilliant examples where communities have come on board and made some major savings on council expenditure just by engaging with them. In Raglan, I mean, they had the farce there on their main street with sealing it. The council come in, they painted the roads, then they went and sealed it, and they put a loose chip on it. It all got carried into the shops, but after they put the loose chip on, they painted it again, and such a fuss was kicked up that they then had to go and seal it again and painted it. So as I say, it takes 3 paint jobs before they get it right. But if they engage with the community in the first place, you don't get those muck-ups. And then by engaging with the community, the idea is to get them on board, get the council and the community boards working together rather than against each other. So I think out of the 5 mayoral candidates, 4 are for community boards. So maybe the community boards have got a reasonable chance of getting somewhere.
That is all we have time for tonight. Thank you very much to Blair Donaldson, Bruce Cameron for coming in, and we wish you all the best with the rest of your campaign.
Thank you very much, Hilary.
And if you'd like to see Alan Sanson or Noel Smith, you can do so on our website, tvcentral.co.nz, or our Facebook page. Coming up tomorrow night, though, we move right down the other end of the region to the South Waikato district. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening, and remember to vote.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.